Hi folks, thanks for tuning in and watching. Today, or in this video, I'm going to cover a route into Dreghorn, or Drongan as the locals call it, and we're going to go into Dreghorn via Drybridge. This is a route that I'm not fully familiar with, if I'm honest. I haven't had any clients get this route at all, so I'm not sure how popular it is with the examiners, but I'm going to show you anyway. I'll show you at least what I think they would take you. And at the moment it's a lovely sunny Sunday afternoon, so you can see a converted cyclist there's just past us. So I'm just checking my mirrors all the way around to my blind spot, in first gear at the moment, at the biting point already. It's now safe to pull away without indicating. I have no sat-nav recorded, or sat-nav route recorded for this one. As I say, it's one I'm less familiar with. So I'm going to take the third exit off to the right, internal mirror, right door mirror and signal to the right. As I approach the roundabout, I'm coming into a 40 zone. The cyclist has went the same direction as I'm going, so as I clear the roundabout I'm going to be prepared to catch that cyclist. Internal mirror, left door mirror. Got a couple of cyclists on the right hand side as well, but they're on the pavement. Checking my right door mirror, safe to pull right out and overtake the cyclist. Now the room that you should give a cyclist should be enough room that the cyclist could fall off and you still wouldn't crush their head. Now with that particular cyclist, it's unlikely that he was going to fall off. It's one of those seated bikes. But the principle still applies. Give them plenty of room in case they have to swerve to avoid a pothole or a drain or something. I'm going to take the first exit off to the left. Internal mirror, left door mirror, signal left. No following traffic behind, so I can eased off the gas nice and early there, slowing it down, planning to stop. No traffic coming from the right, so carrying on in third gear. Turned into a national speed limit. So checking my internal mirror, up into fourth gear, make progress where possible. There's a work access ahead with a side road to the right and an additional information saying reduce speed now. I'm only just under 40 miles an hour, so the reduced speed now will be assuming that I'm already doing 60 miles an hour. Long sweeping bend to the right. Tree lining both sides of the road, more so the ones to the right are creating shadows on the road, and those shadows can hide cyclists, pedestrians, dog walkers, horse riders. So as much as it's a nice beautiful day with good vision, good dry day with good vision ahead, whenever you have those shadowed areas, just be aware that it can take a second or two for your eyes to adjust. Got a side road to the left and 200 yards, and I'm now 300 yards from a 30. So already off the gas, now 200 yards away from 30. There's the side road to the left. I'm now 100 yards from 30. There's no following traffic behind, so I'm checking my mirrors and I'm now braking to go into the 30. Get my speed controlled, down to fourth gear, and then try and squeeze back on the gas if I need to squeeze it back up to 30 miles per hour. At the end of the road we're going to turn left towards Drongan. Internal mirror, left door mirror, signal to the left. And then I'm going to position to my left. Notice how sweeping the curb is, so follow the shape of the curb all the way around to the giveaway markings. On a corner like that, be prepared to follow the shape of the curb, even if it means turning quite a bit to the left before reaching the giveaway markings, because you don't want to be too wide on the turn. I've got priority for oncoming cars here, but there are no oncoming cars anyway that need to slow down for me, so just a quick couple of mirrors there to change my position and carry on. A couple of dog walkers on the left, 4 pedestrians, 2 dogs. I'm now in a national speed limit as I leave Drybridge. So building my speed up gradually, but the road bends to the left here and I'm using my limit points to help control my speed. So there's a sharp limit point to the left, so right off the gas, actually squeezing the brakes before I take the bend. So did all my braking on the straight line there. Now squeezing on the gas again and then another blind spot to the left. So again, mirror check, back on the brakes. This bend's actually sharper. And there's no pavement on the left hand side as well. Thankfully there's a pavement on the right. So I wouldn't expect pedestrians on my side of the road there, on the inside of the bend. But you never know. I've now got to give way to oncoming cars. There are no oncoming cars at the moment, but there is now, so back on the brakes. Pedestrian on the left waving me through there as if it was safe to go, but he didn't see what I could see. And there's some young pedestrians on the right hand side on the narrow pavement as well. I've got a side road to the right coming up. We're coming back into a 30 underneath the bridge. So this is us coming into Drongan, or Dreghorn. And if you come straight to Dreghorn via the dual carriageway or via the route that I've just taken, there is a strong chance you'll be asked to turn right into the scheme. So I'm going to turn right into the scheme and show you what the roads are like in there. Obviously a lot of parked cars with 2 mirrors, signal right, internal mirror, right door mirror, signal right. Oncoming car is also signalling right, so it's not going to be coming this far down the road. So I can make my turn, not cutting the markings. Now once you're in this scheme, they can take you generally one of 2 ways. Most common one is off the left here, so internal mirror, left door mirror, signal left, tight narrow turn into the left hand side here. And quite often they'll use one of the parked cars on the left hand side here to do a parallel park. If I was to stop alongside this black car to show you my position for a parallel park, try and leave your normal space between yourself and the object car, but be particularly careful of the curb on your right hand side as you steer to the left and swing out to the right. So on a road like this, when you're asked to do a parallel park and there's no space for passing vehicles, be also aware of how close you might get to the opposite pavement with your front right hand tyre. So following the road round to the right, again more parked cars, all on the right hand side this time. At the end of the road you'll be asked to turn right, internal mirror, right door mirror. Markings are very faded on the road, so positioning myself as best as I can. And at the end of the road we'll turn right again, and then you'll probably make your way to the end of the next road and leave the scheme. On entering the scheme we took the first road to the left. The alternative is to take the first road to your right, which coming opposite way up the street would be this turn here. I'm going to turn into the left. So you may be asked, instead of turning left the way we've just went, you may be asked to turn right into this street, because effectively we just went round a block there and started facing the other direction. As you come down here, this road to the left is a dead end. and they can ask you to take either this road to the left or follow the bend round to the left. I'm going to take this road to the left, as there's more mirrors and signals involved in this particular route, rather than following the road ahead. Now notice all the parked cars on the sides of the road, so just good mirror checks as you move out to the right, move back into the left, taking it nice and easy. Be aware of kids. It's a lovely day, so it could be kids at play. Internal mirror, left door mirror signal left. Parked cars opposite me there, so I'm going to come to a hard stop, because even if it was safe to my right, cars to the left may already have positioned themselves to overtake those parked cars, which would bring them closer to me as I pull out. And it's effectively just another square block, but this time you're navigating it to the left hand side rather than the block that we did earlier. We're navigating it to the right hand side. So that takes us back onto the road. So the scheme in here isn't very big, but it can be tricky with the amount of parked cars in the streets, and there are tight turns. Just take them at the appropriate speed, safe for the conditions. At the end of the road we're going to turn right. So internal mirror, right door mirror, signalling to the right, positioning to the right, getting right into the corner of the markings. Coming to a hard stop though, because there's a car coming to my left and I couldn't see to the right. The brick wall to my right hand side is part of the garden, affected my vision, so I'm crawling out forward. It's clear to my left, but I'm crawling out to get a better look to my right. It's now safe to proceed. Got a car reversing from its driveway on the left hand side. A car has just pulled out as well on the left hand side. Parked cars on the right hand side, and the parked vehicles on the left hand side are off the road, but a couple of larger vehicles sticking their nose onto my side of the road, so just checking my right door mirror and moving out slightly to get away from them, giving them again a door's width. At the traffic lights we're going to turn right. Pedestrian crossing ahead, a zebra crossing, nobody waiting to cross, so making progress through here. Now this is Dreghorn town centre or village centre, and there's also a lot of parked cars on the left hand side as well as the right hand side. Some of them parked that bit wider from the curb, which sort of means that you have to just move that wee bit wider or that wee bit more to the centre of the road as you drive down the street. Just be aware of that, because this is a major bus route to Crosshouse Hospital from the three towns, and vice versa back from Kilmarnock direction towards the three towns. And so therefore the large vehicles on the road, if you are that wee bit wider, that wee bit closer to the centre line, you may have to readjust your positioning to suit larger vehicles on the road. Now this stretch here is still a 30. I unfortunately did have a client who misread the street and thought it was a 40 as they were leaving Dreghorn town centre, and they did speed up a bit and they went over the 30. From here we're going to take the roundabout first exit, so internal mirror, left door mirror, signal left. Good view of the oncoming traffic and traffic from the right, so clear to keep going. Turning left into a national speed limit. And at the roundabout ahead I'm going to take the first exit left. Now if you're taking to Dreghorn and only Dreghorn, so that you're not proceeding into Springside, strong chance you'll be asked to turn right here and go through Pierston Row. Oncoming vehicles are slowing you down just a slightly bit further and still making the turn without coming to a complete stop. still in the national speed limit though, and notice that it's a country road, so make progress where possible, but take into consideration the conditions. So there's no pavements on the left hand side, pavement on the right hand side at the moment, sharp bend to the left coming up, vehicle behind is really close because I haven't used my brakes to slow down for this bend. Taking the bend in second gear, coming up to traffic calming area, into a 30, no oncoming vehicles, so I don't need to slow down and stop. So just check my right door mirror, negotiate the chicane, parked vehicle on the left hand side, checking in door mirror, right door mirror moving out, not signalling for the car behind because I can move out and move back in again without changing my speed that much. So you don't need to signal for every parked car. Right, we've got two warning signs, double bend starting to the right, followed by a warning of cattle. So this is the first bend to the right. And the bend to the left is sharper than it looks. I have a lot of learners get caught out at this bend. Just at this point here it sharpens up to the left, and you've got to just do that wee bit more steering to the left hand side than you maybe thought on approach. Straightens up a bit here, so back on the gas, making a bit of progress, and then another double bend, this time starting to the left. Vehicle behind is not too close this time, but so squeeze my mirrors. Squeeze my mirrors? I meant check my mirrors and squeeze my brakes. And then follow the bend round, and at the end of the road we're going to turn left. So there's a giveaway immediately around this bend and a 40 limit zone. So internal mirror, left door mirror, back on the brakes, down into second gear. Very good, quick couple of checks to my right hand side and it's clear to proceed. At every junction remember to think bike. When you're looking at left and right to see if it's clear to proceed, always look for the bike. If you look for the bike, you'll see everything else. If you look for a car, there's a chance you'll miss the bike. So you're looking for the smallest thing possible, the smallest road user possible. Right, just need to ease off the gas a slight touch there. Excited, if you like. But what that shows is it's very easy to accelerate out that junction back there, build your speed back up towards 40 mile an hour, and if you don't check your speedo often, it can creep up to that 42 miles an hour. Now I spoke to an examiner many years ago who's actually still working, and they said that if you're 1 or 2 miles per hour above the speedo, or above the speed limit, they're not likely to fail you for something like that unless it's consistent and you consistently do it, unless you've done it for a long distance and not realised it, because you should check your speedo often. At the roundabout ahead, I'm going to take the first exit left back towards the test centre. They may take you straight ahead into Irvine town centre. That will depend very much on how much time they spent in the scheme at Dreghorn and how much time they might have. A couple of white vehicles from my right hand side, so slowing it right down to second gear, now make my progress. As I turn left I'm into a 50s limit and a dual carriageway type of road. Warning signs of a roundabout ahead. The roundabout, the next sign I can see has 3 exits, 8 o'clock, 12 o'clock and sort of 4 o'clock. if you're using a clock face. And we're going to take the second exit straight ahead, so staying in the left hand lane unless marked otherwise, internal mirror, squeeze the brakes. A couple of vehicles on the right hand side coming round the roundabout but not crossing the front of my path, so into third gear and make progress. Staying on the outside of the roundabout, internal mirror, left door mirror, followed by the signal. Approach to the left, so stay in the left. Do not take the racing line through the roundabout. At the roundabout ahead, I'm going to take the third exit off to the right, so internal mirror, right door mirror, signal to the right. 200 yards away from the junction. Cancel my signal just now. No following traffic behind me, so squeezing the brakes and signalling now to the right hand side. There's traffic coming from my right, so I'm continuing to slow down. I'm going to take the gap after this car, so into second gear and make progress. Now notice the markings in the road, so I've already picked my right hand lane. Now I do not cross the line to my right. I use that as my curb line. Internal mirror, signal to the left. This is a spiral roundabout where the markings, if you stick to your lane as you approach the roundabout and emerge onto the roundabout, that lane will take you to where you intended to go. Internal mirror, left door mirror to signal left and take the next road on the left. Turning from a 40 into a 30, I didn't get it up to anywhere near 40 coming off the roundabout, in the knowledge that I was turning left. Van pulling out is fine. I'm happy with the speed that I was doing, the speed he pulled out at, and a couple of pedestrians on the left at the back to me. And then following the road back round to the test centre at 30 miles an hour. So as I said at the start of this video, I'm not 100% sure of that full test route, because I haven't had any clients sit that test route in the past, so I haven't got any feedback from them or sat in the back to witness that particular route, but I suspect that that's how it would go. And certainly when you're in Dreghorn, there's a strong chance you'll be asked to pull over and stop to do a manoeuvre. And maybe on this stretch back to the test centre, it's possible they'll ask you to do an emergency stop as well. And all of those things just add in that extra couple of minutes to your route, because most tests will last up to 40 minutes. There are one or two that might stretch into 45 minutes depending on volume of traffic, etc. But on average they last about 40 minutes. I'm going to pull over and stop, internal mirror, left door mirror, not signalling because there's no traffic on the road, no one to benefit from the signal. Pulling in nice and close to the curb, handbrake on, into neutral, relax your brake and clutch legs, and then await the next instruction.